Hi, my name is Tim from PACE Success, and I want to talk a little bit about the English Diagnostic Test. We've been using this test here at our Christian school for 15 years or more, and so a lot of times when students will come into our school from homeschooling, or they come in from public school or another Christian school, we like to give them especially the English Diagnostic Test to determine where we need to place them and if they have any learning gaps. The test is available online if you go to aceministries.com, I believe it is, and there's a place for assessments, and then you can register. It's free. It's a free tool. I personally like the idea of using the actual booklet, and that's what we use here in our school, because then the students are working in it just like they would work in their paces, and I can be looking over their shoulder and seeing how they're doing while they're doing the test, and kind of better gauge, even when I go to score it, I get a better idea how they did. And I kind of like to be the one to do the scoring rather than have a computer just grade everything and give me the results and say these are the gap paces. A good idea is to go back, let's say a student's going into 5th grade. So go back 2 grades before that and have them do the diagnostic testing for the 3rd and the 4th grade. I think the ACE manual recommends 3 grades, but that really takes a long time for the students to be sitting there doing that. And usually if you go back 2 grades, let's say in this case 3rd and 4th grade, you're going to get a good idea if there are gaps. The other thing that I've noticed is, unless they really are struggling, and let's say that the chronological grade is 5th grade, okay? It's going to keep repeating the same content year after year. So even if you notice a gap in 3rd grade, it's probably going to be the same gap that they're going to get in 4th grade. And so I like to use the grade, if possible, the grade just prior to the one that they're going to be entering, and try to find the gaps at that level. And my goal is to try to find 3 or 4 that are giving them trouble, and then try to get them up to grade level. Now, a lot of students who get to, for instance, the punctuation section, or the one where they have to do the parts of a letter, and here's one where they have to write a composition. Honestly, I don't count those as gap paces. They're going to get that year after year, and that's not really a concept so much as there's memorizing rules that they just have to follow. And so I want to look more for the parts of speech. That tends to be the real difficulty that they need to review year after year. So let's take a student who's going into 9th grade. Okay, we just had a student this past year who came to us from public school, was a 9th grader, and so I had him go back and do the 7th and 8th level. And really, because he was coming from public school, he didn't know any of the grammar. Because I've been working with the paces so long, I know that this 1085 to 1096 is a really important section of paces and will help students get a good, strong foundation in the grammar, parts of speech, and that kind of thing. But because he really had no background, I want him to have this good year plus the year before that. So even though he was a 9th grader, I had him doing the full 7th grade level. Now this, in 10th grade, is going to do the full 8th grade level, all right? And then I'm going to, even though he's going into 11th, 12th grade after that, do the 9th and 10th grade paces. Now by doing that, he's going to miss some literature in the 11th and 12th grade and some more advanced writing concepts, but he's still going to get a strong foundation in each of those areas. So I even had a student who was coming in as a 11th grader, I tried to put him in the 9th grade paces, and 9th grade, which is 1097, just assumes already that you know the parts of speech and the grammar. And because he did not know that, I actually had to take him back to this 1085 to 1096 and have him work through that whole level. And then the next year, his senior year, he was able to do a high school level English and be more successful at it. He didn't struggle with English, he just had never encountered all those parts of speech before. He was, I believe that he was coming in from a homeschooling curriculum, if I remember right now. He just didn't have that foundation. So this is a really key foundation. I recommend, like I said, 3 to 4 gaps. The goal is to try, especially with high school students, try to get them up to doing a full level of 12 paces as soon as possible. If they're coming in the lower elementary, you can have several gap paces and gradually get them worked up to level. But if they're coming in 8th, 9th grade, just a few gap paces, get them on level, do a full level, lay that foundation, and then build from there. As far as the math, the math diagnostic test is just going to be a good tool to know which concepts they know how to do well and which paces they need to do to fill in those gaps. I don't need any explanation for the math diagnostic test. They have one for social studies and science. I think it's mainly a reading test. There's also a word building test. But really the key is the English. That's going to be the main course you need to diagnose. If you're going to use the PACES for math, do that. We don't use the diagnostic test here. I try to do some reading with them and determine their reading level, and then try to just get them right in at a grade level that they can read confidently and do the science and social studies. Because I know when they get to the high school level, they need to work through physical science, they need to work through biology, the chemistry, the physics, so they need to get full courses. So we're not looking for gaps so much with those, we're looking just for reading comprehension and reading level. So anyways, I hope that helps. This is tied to a blog post that I wrote at pacesuccess.net that may answer some of your questions as well, or feel free to leave a question and we'll see if we can answer it from there. Thank you.